If you're a high-achieving woman who's exhausted by stress, stuck in constant conflict, and tired of being overlooked in the exact rooms where you know you were born to lead, then this podcast is for you. So here's your host, Pallavi Jain.
Welcome back to Her Boss Brain, the podcast where we explore science-backed strategies, actionable tools, and mindset shifts to help high-achieving women lead from within, activate their boss brain, and make conscious withdrawals from their inner ATM. Now, for all those who are new here, I am Pallavi Jain, your host, and I wish you all a very happy new year, 2026. If you have ever felt frozen by too many choices, like your brain is spinning a million miles an hour, this episode is for you. We're talking about decision overload, why it happens, why it's so common for high achievers, and most importantly, what can you do about it? Now, too many choices at once can freeze even the most ambitious leaders. In this episode, I'll teach you how to cut through the noise and reclaim control. By the end of this episode, you'll know how to stop reacting, start choosing consciously, and lead your life with clarity and intention. Let's start with the experience itself. Why not? It's mid-January. You have your ambitious goals lined up for the year. Your calendar is filling up, emails are stacking, meetings, priorities, and projects all demand your attention at once. You know you should be focusing, prioritizing, and executing. But instead, you feel stuck. Your brain is running loops, running through options, second guessing, wondering, should I commit to this project? Should I delegate this task or do it myself? Will this decision set me back or will I miss an opportunity? Now, if this sounds familiar, congratulations. You're human and a high achiever, right? High achieving brains are wired to scan for possibilities, risks, and outcomes. High achievers actually struggle with too many choices at the start of the year. Well, like what goals to prioritize, what meetings to accept, what projects to commit to. But there's a catch. When everything feels urgent, your brain gets paralyzed, not productive. And here's the kicker. Decision overload is exhausting. It drains mental energy, triggers stress response, and it reduces the very clarity and effectiveness you rely on to lead. Now, for those who have listened to the previous episodes, you know that we have talked about decision fatigue before, where we discussed how we are exhausted by 3 p.m. and what was the cause for it. This is different. Here we are talking about decision overload, that feeling of overwhelm with too many decisions and thus getting confused in making a choice and taking real action. So what do we do? How do we stop spinning and start leading from within? Let me break down first and tell you why this happens, especially to high achievers. There are many reasons, but let me explain a few of them that are most critical. Number one, the first reason is perfectionism. We want every choice to be perfect, but perfectionism is a trap. It increases the number of options we feel we must evaluate. Then the second reason is future focused brains. We're always projecting outcomes. If I do X, will it get me closer to my goals or derail me? The third reason is external pressure. Bosses, stakeholders, colleagues, and even our own internalized expectations pile up. Every decision feels high stakes. And then the fourth, no pause for self-reflection. When we rush, we operate on autopilot. We react rather than consciously choose. And thus we just spin the cycle faster. Now, when all these factors combine, your boss brain, the part of you that can lead with clarity, initiative, and self-starting energy, it actually gets stuck in traffic. But the good news is there's a simple yet powerful framework to break free, the ATM Framework. Now, let me share a personal example of how perfectionism pushed me into unnecessary decision overload. So this goes back to when I was building my website for my signature lead from within work. I became obsessed with every detail, every word, font size, color, image. I wanted it to be perfect. I was overthinking everything, overanalyzing everything. I drove my web designer crazy. I was thinking about color palettes, even in my sleep. So literally, I couldn't switch my brain off. Now, what I didn't realize at the time was that I wasn't being productive. I was being paralyzed. I was so caught up in getting it right, that I completely missed the big picture. There were far more important decisions and actions that actually mattered for impact, for momentum, and service. Now, underneath all of that perfectionism was a deeper fear. If this isn't perfect, people won't value me or my work. I hadn't paused, I hadn't reflected, I was reacting on autopilot. And it wasn't until I was completely exhausted, behind, and mentally drained that I finally stopped. And thank God, then I applied my ATM framework. So here's how we stop spinning and start choosing what truly matters. Let's learn how to use this framework step by step because it works. Step number one, arrive. Pause. Notice where you are mentally, emotionally, and physically. Are you reacting to the flood of choices or are you present and observing? As soon as I asked myself this question, I saw the pattern of reacting to that perfectionism. Let me give you another example. Um, imagine your inbox has 50 unread emails. Now, instead of diving in and panicking, take a breath, close your eyes for 5 seconds, and say, I'm arriving in this moment. I notice the overwhelm. I notice my energy. Just arriving interrupts autopilot and gives your brain a chance to respond consciously. Then comes the step number two. Take responsibility and know what truly matters. Next, now that you have arrived, you gotta own your power to decide. This doesn't mean you have to do everything perfectly. It means recognizing that you get to choose where your attention, energy, and effort go. What actions will actually create the impact you want? And what is just noise, distraction, or fear disguised as urgency? For me, it was that I needed my website to be perfect for people to value my work. High achievers often blame circumstances or overwhelm. We often say, I have to do this. They need me. But the truth is, you always have the choice how to spend your time, your focus, and your energy. And then comes the last step. Step number three, make a conscious choice. Finally, act intentionally. Choose one decision, one action aligned with what matters most right now. Let me give you some examples. Instead of overanalyzing every project, ask which 2 or 3 things will move the needle most this week. Instead of reacting to every email, schedule blocks of time to respond strategically. Decision batching works, what we talked about in our episode 18, I think. For me, the conscious choice was this: font colors and text matter, but they do not determine my worth or the value of my work, and that I can let that project go when it is good enough. So I can focus my attention on things that actually help me make the impact for which I started this work. The shift is subtle, but profound. You're leading yourself from within, not reacting to the world around you. And as you keep practicing this, you're literally training your brain one conscious choice at a time. And this is where your boss brain steps in. When you consciously decide, your brain moves from stress to focus. You're no longer stuck spinning. You're executing with clarity and intention. It feels good. Let me share another moment from one of my workshops I did in end of January last year. There was this participant. She was a high performing middle manager in a fast paced tech company. Now, at the start of the year, she felt like she was drowning in decisions. There were deadlines, team requests, strategic projects. They were all starting at once, right? And by mid January, she was exhausted, stressed, and questioning herself constantly. Now, in the workshop, through the ATM framework, we practiced number one, arrive, noticing her overwhelm physically. It's easy to notice it physically, right? Tension in your shoulders, tight jaw, racing thoughts. Then she did the second step, take responsibility and know what truly matters here. Acknowledging that she could decide what to prioritize rather than being at the mercy of emails, meetings, and external pressure. And then make a conscious choice. Picking just 3 priority actions for the next week that aligned with her biggest impact. By the end of the exercise, she realized something powerful, that she didn't need to solve everything at once. She had agency over her choices. Her boss brain switched on, the mental fog lifted, and she started the year with energy and confidence. And crazy enough, I actually received an email from her on January 1st this year saying that because of what she learned in the workshop and applying the lead from within principles in the ATM framework, last year, she is starting her year differently this time with grounded self leadership and is determined to make decisions with her activated boss brain. I am so proud of her. And I know if she's listening, she's probably getting a giggle out of this. I really am proud of you. She's a completely different person after applying this inner science for just 1 year. And now, if she can do it, you can do it too. This is exactly now why I created a simple tool for all of you that I want to give it to you today, which is called the weekly boss brain priority sheet. Decision overload doesn't get solved by more thinking. It gets solved by structured choice. This sheet walks you through the ATM framework every single week, so you're not spinning in your head. You'll first arrive checking in with where your energy and overwhelm actually are. Then you take responsibility, deciding where your energy truly belongs. And finally, you make one conscious choice per day, not 10, not 20, just one intentional action that moves the needle. You can download this for free in the show notes, or if you have any trouble doing that, you can also email me directly at herbossbrain@gmail.com. herbossbrain@gmail.com. I recommend using it every Sunday or Monday morning to set your week and then doing a quick 2-minute reflection at the end of each day. This is how you train your boss brain, one conscious choice at a time. So here's how I want you to apply this starting today. Once again, number 1, you arrive. You take a 5 to 10-minute pause daily to notice where you're spinning or overthinking. Number 2, take responsibility. Choose your top priorities for the week and schedule them. Don't leave them to chance. Number 3, make one conscious choice per day. Not everything, just one intentional action that aligns with your bigger goals. And number 4, reflect briefly. Each night, note one moment you reacted and one moment you chose consciously. This practice is simple, but it's powerful. Over time, it rewires your default mode from stress and reaction to clarity and leadership. High achievers, again, are wired to think, plan, and execute. But sometimes all that thinking leaves us stuck. The antidote isn't working harder, it's leading from within, arriving, taking responsibility, and making a conscious choice. Now, if you take just one thing from today, let it be this. You have the power to choose your next step, even when everything feels urgent. Your boss brain is always ready. It just needs a conscious signal from you to be activated. I want you to thank you for listening to Her Boss Brain, Stress to Success, and giving it so much love. Now, if this episode helped you, share it with a friend or colleague who's stuck in decision overload too. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a tool, story, or strategy to lead from within. Now, if you would like to bring this intentional work to your teams or your organizations, you can also reach out to me on LinkedIn or visit my website, pallavi-jen.com, because you all know now that the most powerful leadership tool you have is your inner ATM.
So that's it for today's episode of Her Boss Brain podcast. Head on over to Apple Podcasts, iTunes, or wherever you listen and subscribe to the show. One lucky listener every single week that posts a review on Apple Podcasts or iTunes will win a chance in a grand prize drawing to win a $25,000 private VIP day with Pallavi herself. Be sure to head on over to herbossbrainpodcast.com and pick up a free copy of Pallavi's gift and join us next time.